Well, here's the onion patch. It's May 30th, 2013. I planted about 280 onions in here, and a few of them didn't sprout, but I think 98% of them did. And you can see I just got done weeding and hoeing, and it looks nice now. This is the potato onion patch. Now the story goes, when I got them delivered, I just planted them. And that was last October. And of course I started doing a little more reading about them, found out they were really old onions. They were onions before the onions that we're using today, and they're kind of harder to peel because they got little balls, little bulbs that cluster together, and they can grow pretty tall even. But anyways, I planted them in October, and then I found out that you should hold them over winter in your basement, then plant them in the spring. They're already in the ground. I thought, well, here's another good experiment, and this was a really bad winter. 2012, 2013 was very long. It wasn't necessarily cold, but it was long, and it had good snow, deep snow. And these potato onions are thriving. So I suppose a real cold winter with no snow would have an effect on them. But I'm going to do this every winter now. I'm going to plant some of these in October, and I'm going to probably hold half of them over winter in the basement, and we'll keep this experiment going. Now this is the long row of garlic that I planted last October. 50-60 feet of it. The bigger ones I did 4 to a row, and the smaller ones I did 5 to a row. There's actually 3 kinds in here. There's one called Georgia Fire, and that one isn't growing very well, and I'm not going to reproduce that one. I have another one called Polish Red that's doing very well. It actually has more of a blue leaf than what you're seeing here. The Polish Red is way on the other end. But I do have a story to tell about this, the remainder of this garlic, the rest of it, most of it, and that is I purchased some garlic 13, 14 years ago. 1998, I think it would have been. I did it, and I started planting. It was good garlic. I planted a couple of years in a row. You know, replanted the biggest bulbs, the biggest cloves, and then for about a decade I was out chasing the dollar, and I didn't do any gardening back here, and the weeds took it over. And the garlic reseeded itself and competed with the weeds. Now, they hardly ever grew any bulbs. They're all real small, and of course they grew in clusters. You know, it wouldn't take long and there'd be a big bunch of a couple hundred of them in a square foot area. But every year they reseeded themselves throughout that whole 10 years. Competed, and then sometimes there were weeds over the top of their heads, and they got kind of yellowish, but they kept growing, kept reseeding. Well, 3 years ago I went through a large patch of it and took the biggest cloves and replanted it. And much to my surprise and reward, actually came out with some pretty good cloves. And replanted again, and they got a little bit bigger. And I think this is now the 4th year that I've replanted them. 3rd or 4th, I gotta look back. I probably got a video on it somewhere. And I went nuts. I had a lot of really big cloves. See, in the beginning I was searching for a big clove, and I didn't have very many. And every year I was planting everything I had, and it just really wasn't a lot. Well, last year was a bumper crop, a big one, so I planted them all. I guess I was used to planting them all, and I did. And here's the results. It's going to be a really good crop. Here's Grandma's onions. I've been eating on them. Pretty soon they're going to get they're really tough and stringy. So I might have it's supposed to be cool next week. 40s and 50s here along Lake Michigan. So we might get another week out of them. I'm going to load up. I took a bunch yesterday and chopped them up, put them in with some venison tips. Oh, they're really good. When they caramelize, they get so sweet. So anyways, the rest of them I'm going to let go to seed. Replant them again next year. Might put some up on eBay if anybody wants to buy any. Let me know.